You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One,
Steve,
and Troy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 386. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the mistress, the legend. It's Alex.
I finally have come to the end of a long journey and get to give you my final thoughts on Kratos' latest entry into his series.
hated it.
He brings the awesome every week. I yield to no one.
Listeners, do you see the bulliness I have to put up with? I'm trying to bring some awesome, a little bit of funny, and he's over there bullying me. I don't know if I can take it anymore.
Well, nobody's actually going to hear that, so they have no idea what you're talking about.
That's okay.
All right, and we have a special guest this week. He puts us all to shame when it comes to trophies. It's CJ.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun. I'm not sure that I put you all to shame, but I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, if you combine all of our platinum counts, does he beat that still?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, but I think I have 649 platinums in 5 games. There's just a lot of stats there.
And he's honest, so we can all appreciate that.
All right, so there's only one way to do this, and that's to get into an updated trophy count.
Yeah, we're not even half of what he's at.
No, we're right up there with him. If we add in Sid.
Well, okay, yeah, if we add in Sid, hold on here. That's a little bit better.
How does that make you feel, Tricky, that even as chumpy as you are still no match for CJ?
Hey, listen.
You have met your chump match. Check
not really.
And mate.
Not really, because...
really?
I could get that chumpy.
You definitely could. I thought
No, you couldn't. Yeah. You play way too much of the Division 2. There's no possible way.
That's very, very true.
I was led to believe from listening that one of you had a mini level 100 Pokemon. Isn't that correct? So we're all sort of level 100.
That is me.
Yeah, there you go. So we're all special.
Oh, and I collected all the golden jigsaw pieces in Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64. Thank you.
All right, our trophy counts. I am level 39, total trophies of 9,907 with 118 platinums. Alex.
I am level 31, total trophy count of 6,854, and a platinum count of 101 platinums in 100 games. Did anyone update my trophies?
Yes.
I did.
Okay, good.
Yield.
I am a level 28 with the trophy count of 5768. Man, if I could only get that in order. And a platinum count of 90.
And Steve is level 15, total trophies of 2,103 with 11 platinums. Sid is level 38, total trophies of 8,757 with 162 platinums. All right, push to shame, CJ. What are you at?
Well, I think I'm a total trophy whore then. So I'm level 100 with 649, I think, platinums, 5,121 gold, too many silver, way too many bronze, and total 28,609 trophies. Wow, that's disturbing.
When I first saw CJ's totals on, especially the total trophy count, and how there was an extra digit compared to the rest of us, I'm like, that's a glitch. Who put that extra digit? Oh, wait, no, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's too many trophies. I think I've come to the limit, perhaps. Wonder how high the number can go up.
You're at the limit of the level, right? Because you would actually be higher than 100 right now if there was actually a higher level. Right?
Yeah, I think so. It caps at 100, but I know those tracking sites go higher. That's right. Yeah.
Hold on, let me ask, CJ, how long have you been at level 100?
Last year, I think. Yeah. So I don't know, 8 months or so, around that.
So you'd be on a level 130 now if you could, right?
I think I'm like 115. I actually slowed down a lot. So, yeah, no, I'm not playing anywhere near. Well, I'm not playing anywhere near as much of this visual nonsense, VN type games, which I know would disgust all of three of you, which are really cheap ways of getting trophies. Maybe Tricky's the only one that knows about those sort of games. They're dreadful.
And I only have one of those platinums.
Yeah, you got
Oh, please give me a break. You've got more than one.
I only have one visual novel trophy
Oh,
or platinum. Yes.
Yeah, no, they're just silly games, especially if you can't speak Japanese, and my Japanese is very, very poor, so it's amusing to me, yeah. But if you want trophies, hey.
All right, so CJ, the listeners could probably tell you have a very, very distinct accent. Before we go on the show, tell us about, like, how did you find Trophy Horrors? Who are you? What do you do? Why are you such a whore? Like, all this stuff. Tell us about it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I suppose I stumbled across Trophy Horrors. I love listening to all sorts of podcasts, not just gaming podcasts, like true crime, a bit of everything, comedy and stuff. So I sort of use gaming podcasts mainly when I'm playing games. I don't tend to listen to the sound very often because I play a lot of racing games or whatever else, not necessarily a lot of narrative-heavy games. So, podcasts are awesome just to listen to and catch up on what's going on at the same time. So, yeah, and then, I don't know, my gaming, to be honest, I don't know. I don't finish a lot of games that I start. I tend to get distracted. I tend to play almost a little bit of everything, I think. But, I enjoy that, so that's cool for me. But I know it's not for everyone or whatever else. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that's me. Yeah, not that exciting, I suppose, but... Yeah, and as you said, I'm from Australia, so a long way away from you guys. But we have, a fair trophy community out here and a gaming community, and definitely not as big as the States. We don't have any of the conferences or any of the proper conferences or anything here. So, yeah, I don't know. Is that enough?
I think so.
Oh, good.
it's enough if it's all you want to say. Like, if you feel like you fully explained yourself and where you come from, that's plenty.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, I think, assume that I play a ton of hours, but then I don't tend to play a lot of the longer games. So that sort of, helps. I know, Tricky, you play a lot of the Division, and, that's a massive time sink. Like, you lose 1,000 hours, like nothing else in that game. So,
like, nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, like...
1,000 hours, that's like a week to Tricky. Now, before some jackass points this out, I know that the math doesn't work out on that. But, let's be honest, if Tricky is not at work or sleeping, or he probably doesn't sleep, he's probably playing the Division.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
No. I'm not playing the Division. I'm playing the Division 2.
Well, have you platted that game yet, Tricky? It's kind of a tough plat, I think.
No, because two of the trophies I think are glitched on me.
Oh, here we go.
The trophy that you were actually asking me about, CJ.
all over again.
No, the trophy you were asking me about, CJ, the one where you have to answer a call for help. Yeah. I've answered that call like 20 times. Never got that.
Yeah, there's something going on with that trophy, isn't there? Definitely.
And the other trophy is beating all the missions on hard. I've done that, but I read somewhere that it says that if you join during the mission or you die at all, it doesn't register.
Malarkey.
Even if you get picked back up and you finish it, no problem. They say if you get to the point where you lose your entire shield and you're down, not down, but to the point where you got the circle around you. If you get to that point at any point, it does not count as completing the mission.
Okay. Yeah. No, the game. I don't know. See, I know two of you are sort of a completionist, I think. So I don't know, Tricky. I don't think you are you? Or maybe you are. No, not at all. So I'm not either. So that sort of thing I just give up on when that happens. But the game is really fun, so...
See, Alex likes to call him a better platinum hunter because he has a better completion rate. And he says that's why I have so many trophies is because I don't play games to completion and whatnot. But Alex was talking a big game when he had like a 20 plat lead over me. But now that I'm beating him by 17 platinums, he wants to go, well, I'm a completionist. I got 99%.
I've always been that way. Also, like I've always said, compare the games that I play and the games that I get platinums in to the games that you get platinums in. I don't get to just open a lunchbox and get a platinum like you.
Just because you can't get the trophies I get, I
Get
don't wanna
the
give you
trophies
wrong.
you get. I have the platinum in Ratchet and Clank. Tricky, do you have the platinum in Ratchet and Clank?
No, because it's a different mechanic to get it. I've gotten all the trophies except for the one where it's a different mechanic from 99% of the rest
Well,
of the game.
Really? Because you know who else who has that platinum? I do.
I'm happy
Hey,
for
Tricky,
you.
what did you tell? What
Here,
have
let
you
me
been
clap for
telling
you.
me while fighting the Valkyries? Didn't you tell me to get good?
I am
Apparently
getting good.
not good
I'm
enough.
Not making but I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you, I can't do it. I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, the camera's messing me up."
Hey, guess who got all the Valkyries?
Who?
That guy.
Me.
No, that other guy.
Yeah, me.
What are
I
they?
Yeah,
beat
him.
Sigrun last night.
Yeah.
You got all
Yep,
the
and I
Valkyries.
didn't even
I
need
saw
a
the trophy.
resurrection stone to beat Sigrun. So get good about that.
I'm happy for you. Yeah, you got the platinum yet?
I have to find.
Who's
8
got the
more
platinum in
ravens.
God of War? I do.
I have to. Oh, that's fine. I have to find 8 more ravens throughout the world. That's going to be hard.
Completionists are always so defensive, aren't they? I don't understand. They're always so defensive.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's 2 against 2 finally, isn't it? That's a good thing here.
So, CJ, I have to ask you, and I didn't ask you prior to this. You've heard the shows. You've heard Alex complain about God of War. Is Alex out of his fucking mind?
I haven't actually finished it, surprisingly. But what I played of it, I know I played about half of it. I thought it was pretty good, but I haven't finished it, so I probably shouldn't comment, any more than that. I enjoyed it, so yeah.
But you've done enough of the combat. Is the combat
No,
bad
I
in that
thought
game?
it was good. Yeah.
When have I ever said the combat's bad?
You said it numerous times.
Both Sid and I agreed that it's not deep enough. Until,
my
well,
God.
I'll get into that when what I've been playing, but I've never said it's bad. I just said it's not as fun as it has been.
You said it's bad. You said the combat's bad. And you
No, I didn't.
at the same conversation you were saying how the stranger fight was not the greatest fight in a video game ever.
Strange.
It was not the greatest fight ever, and I'll get more into that. Like, there were better boss fights in that game than anything to do with the final boss.
All right. So you know what? Let's just go into it. Alex, what have you been playing?
So, I have finished God of War after many, many hours, and
2018's Game of the Year.
No, it's not. It's not better than The Last of Us. It's not better than Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not better than Uncharted 4. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why, because I've made a list of pros and cons on this game, because I don't want to sit here and ramble for half an hour. But if
All right,
someone
listeners, get in your favorite chair. If you're riding in the car, get comfortable. Make sure you're wearing your seatbelt, because this is going to be very, very interesting. Alex, take the lead. Go ahead.
All right, so the pros of the game, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say this is a bad game. It's a really good game. Is it as good? Is it a 10 out of 10 like IGN said? No. I don't understand how someone could give this game a 10 out of 10, but there are a lot of things I like about the game, and I've talked about those before. But the world of Midgard is beautifully realized, as is Alfheim, which is another realm that you go into. And I think the mixture of Norse mythology with the mythos of Kratos is just amazingly done. I just think that everything they've done with Midgard, from the hub world to Tyr's Temple and everything around it with the World Serpent, is just fantastic. So I give them kudos for that. Especially, as I said, hey, this game shouldn't take place out of Greece. Well, they made it to where they have made a really good God of War game elsewhere. So I do enjoy the setting of Midgard. I like the connection between Kratos' past and his current situation. I think they did that bridge really, really well. So, and Tricky, you made allusions to that as I played. You're like, well, just wait till you get to this point. Well, I think that they did that really well. While I will complain about, some of the other... What?
I said no, we lost you for a second.
Oh. Well, I basically... What'd you hear me say? Well,
Just
my
keep-
audio...
Yeah, just keep going. Your audio is fine.
While I do have complaints about a certain boss, I think that a lot of boss fights, like the Dark Elf King, the Dragon of the Mountain, and then, the double team fight. I don't really want to reveal who they are. I think I've said it before with a spoiler tag in the show, but the double team fight that you and Atreus fight against, those are 3 high-ranking God of War bosses. I think that those are on the level with the previous bosses from the series. So I think they did a really, really good job with those.
Can I cut you off right there for a second?
Yeah.
Because this is not a spoiler for the game, but those 2 characters, you know who did the voices for them?
No.
Noah North and Troy Baker.
Oh, well, very nice. I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
but,
that's how good they are.
Yeah, no, but I mean that was a really fun boss fight. The Jotner shrines, those were like a fantastic way to display the lore and the story and to like beef it up. And I thought they just displayed those really well. So every time, there were only 11 in the game, but every time I opened one, like, it was really beautifully done. So I definitely like those. The Ravens, like the concept of a collectible being a way to show the Odin's reach, his power, and his thirst for knowledge. Like, I thought that was brilliant. So even though it's kind of annoying to have to backtrack and kill them all, I did think that was a nice touch, using them to kind of just show Odin and his power, even if you actually never see Odin in this game. I like that the bridge from Tyr's temple, as well as the Thor statue, appears in every realm. So as you're coming out of the temple and crossing that bridge, if you turn around, you see Thor's statue in every realm. And I thought that was just a nice tie back to how you're just traveling from one hub to all these realms. I like how they introduced the antagonist, and I like how early in the game they did it. That's kind of spoilery, but I definitely like how that there was this build to a later fight, and a lot of times, there's sometimes games they introduce a boss later on, or they kind of name drop, but I like how you get to beat kind of the boss early on. And then I also like I don't think the Leviathan axe is as fun as weapon you used in previous games, but I definitely love the fact that you can throw it and call it back, and it can be used for puzzle solving, because that's an added layer to the weapon. I think it makes combat too slow, but at the same time, it does have some cool aspects. And probably one of my favorite things about this game, my favorite character from the game, besides the World Serpent, to be honest, is Mimir. I love Mimir. I think that his little stories and just his commentary, and just even the fact that he's just like this head that you're carrying around, the fact that he feels like a full-fledged character, I think they did a really good job with him as a whole.
I'm going to take that out of the show because that's a little bit of a spoiler.
How is it a spoiler?
Because you're carrying the guy's head around.
So?
That's a little bit of a spoiler.
No, it's not.
All right. Either way, I'm going to take it out of the show. Just
No, don't. It's one of my pros. I want to give a full-fledged, not review of this. Leave it in the show. It's not a spoiler.
All right. I got to think about it. I'll consider it, because to me, that's a major spoiler, but I get what you're saying, so when I'm editing, I'll decide what to do with it.
All right, well, I'll say, if you decide to take that out, I really like the character of Mimir. I think that he added a lot to the story, and just his story throughout the game, because that's certainly not a spoiler. Tricky, you mentioned Mimir on the show before when you were talking about the game. So I like how Mimir adds to the lore, and he gives, he has his own tales that he tells you throughout the story. It keeps things, while you're, rowing or traveling to an area of the map, it keeps things interesting, and it's an easy way to beef up the story and make just the mythos of Norse mythology just kind of come more alive. Now for the things I didn't like so much. I didn't like the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. At the end of the game, I didn't give a shit about Atreus.
Okay.
Okay, so you've compared this to The Last of Us. I think of The Last of Us, I think of scenes like when Ellie saw the giraffes. And I think of the scenes where she is, fighting off the Predator in the burning building, and how Joel and her come together after that, and how much she's just sunken into him and just sobbing. After they started out the relationship of not wanting anything to do with each other, and then to see them split up and how much each one suffered without the other one. The storytelling in The Last of Us is so, far above God of War. Does the relationship between Kratos and Atreus change throughout the game? Yes, a little. He'll praise him a little more in fights. He's like, "You've come a long way, Atreus." And there's a scene where he bends down and tells Atreus, fight with your heart, but let your brain kind of let your brain also have a say. Let your brain kind of mitigate your options, because if you do with your heart, you're just going to run wild. As kind of a throwback to how Kratos did in Greece when he just went kind of nuts and just killed all the gods. I also think, people talk about, seeing a new Kratos in this game, and while he has clearly aged and has learned a lot from his time, I think that also people just describing Kratos in Greece as an angry Spartan does not kind of get to the depth or do justice to the developers who made that character, because his anger isn't just anger. It's anger from grief, anger from sorrow, and it's how he's handling all that. You remember back to when he was protecting Pandora from harm, or in the first game during the Ares fight where he was hugging his family, trying to protect them from the Kratos clones that Ares was throwing at him. There's a lot more depth to Kratos' character that we saw before this game, and I really think that people get lost at that by just kind of generalizing Kratos as an angry character before this game. But back to Kratos and Atreus, I just didn't care about Atreus at all. I don't think that relationship was done really all that well, like it was expounded upon as well as, say, Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us. And I just think that Kratos is placed in Midgard and how his old world comes to this new world takes far more precedent than the relationship to Atreus. And I think that that's kind of the shining star as far as the story goes, and not necessarily the familiar relationship and growth between Kratos and Atreus. I think that getting lost in Midgard and how Kratos fits into that mythos is so overpowering that Atreus just doesn't even matter. And, I'm sure there are plenty of people that don't agree with that, but at the end of the game, I didn't care about Atreus. So, you may not agree, that's fine.
Certainly I don't agree, but I don't know how to really engage in the conversation with you right now without spoiling it. So, like I said, we're gonna have to do another.
I mean, that's fine. We can save that for a spoiler show. The combat becomes a lot more fun later in the game. Yeah, like I said earlier, the Leviathan axe has a lot of good uses, but once you get further in the game, combat becomes a lot more fun, and not just because, as Tricky said, it's familiar, but because it's more fun. It's better. The ogres, the trolls, and the ancients become too common. They feel like they're tossed in just because there's a lack of big boss fights. There are only really maybe 4 big boss fights in the game, or maybe 4 big bosses, maybe 5 big boss fights. And the troll fights are kind of boring and easy. So I feel like a lot of those characters are just thrown in there because, we don't have a big enemy for you to fight that often, so let's just throw another one of these at you. And they just kind of become too samey. Except for the troll that you fight in Helheim. He's actually really well done. But other than that, they're all pretty boring and easy. I'll mention this again. I beat all the Valkyries, and I like how you... Basically, each Valkyrie is a learning experience that you take into the final Valkyrie fight, the Queen Valkyrie. But I'll say it again. The camera in those fights just... It's like a second enemy in some of those fights, and I will forever stick to that because... one hit or one combo from those Valkyries, especially the Queen Valkyrie, can knock you out of a fight or completely turn the tide, no matter how well you've done for the last 10 to 12 minutes of fighting them. And I think the camera just gets in the way too many times. The realms, the other realms, aside from the ones I mentioned, Helheim, Muspelheim, they feel really uninspired. They're just kind of phoned in. They're really bland. I understand that Helheim is supposed to be a version of Hell, like the Norse version of Hell. But as we've seen in the Ninja Theory game, Hellblade, they did a beautiful job with the re-envisioning of Hell, and this one just kind of really, this is what we get. It's just boring, and I just think that those two specifically ones were really phoned in. Although I did like how they worked in you had the challenges of the gods in the first God of War. I really did like how they worked the challenges into Muspelheim, and really made it worth it to actually get to the top of the mountain. Niflheim, I like the concept of that, and how they did that entire world, but I also hated the grind, because that's one section of the game where you have to grind for resources, and I absolutely hated that. I will say, though, that the concept of throwing a Valkyrie into that area and all the added things you had to worry about while fighting the Valkyrie was definitely a plus for the game, so I did appreciate that. And the rest of the things hold on.
I mean, you've been going on for a little while now. Just to see how much longer you got.
Yeah, all I'm going to do... These are the spoiler things that I didn't want to mention. So, skip ahead 5 minutes or so, because these are the spoilery things that I didn't want to say, for anyone listening who hasn't played it. I didn't like... so, there's the things I didn't like. They're cons. So, I didn't like the...
Hold on. Before you go in, I'm sorry to cut you off. CJ, do you care if he spoils any of this?
No, not at all. It's fine.
Okay, well, because we can take it out and post-edit. I just want to make sure that somebody sitting here now didn't care about it.
It's quite interesting.
Go ahead. All right, Alex, go ahead.
So, the spoiler things, one of the pros, the Blades of Chaos are as fun to use as ever. That's such a more fun weapon to use than the Leviathan Axe. And it does add more to the combat once you get the Blades of Chaos, so I definitely did like that. But there's the biggest things about this game that I don't like are Atreus' role in it. I don't care about him. I don't think the relationship between him and Kratos was particularly handled as well as it could have been. I did not like any parts with Baldur. The first fight with him when he comes as a stranger, that's fine. It's not as good as everyone says it is, but I mean it's fine. The fight on the dragon's back with Baldur. This could have been so cool, and they turned it into a QTE, a QuickTime event, just like they did with Icarus and God of War 2, where most of the buttons to dodge don't even work half the time when you try to do it. This just felt like it was a completely lazy job when they could have done something much cooler with it. I mean, fighting Baldur on the back of, first of all, falling off the mountain onto a dragon's back and fighting Baldur and then, zipping, through to Helheim, all that is a really cool concept. The execution was just so poor and so boring. And then the final boss fight. I watched videos ranking the God of War bosses, and this was the number one boss fight on one of the ones I watched. A guy named Democracy, who does a lot of boss rankings for the Soul series and all that. He ranked this as his number one boss fight. I like how they incorporated Freya and Thalmor, the giant, but the fight itself, the action, it's just so lackluster. It's not hard at all. The Valkyries are challenging. Baldur's not hard at all. How in the hell does Kratos murder Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades? And, I don't really have much trouble with them, but yet the Valkyries are hard as fuck, and Baldur's easy as hell. I didn't enjoy this fight. I felt so disappointed after it because it's such a letdown. Because the first part of it started okay, and then the second part is okay, well, the only way I can seemingly damage him is with Atreus' arrows. I use my runic attacks, it's not even working against him. And then the final part, it's then they goes to a quick time event, and then the final part, you have Spartan Rage, and you just fucking destroy him. It's such a letdown of a boss fight. Baldur, you can say that Thor or Odin or somebody like that would have been a better choice. I feel like they're doing a story arc where eventually you'll get to them, especially after what happened to Magni and Modi. This boss fight was such a letdown for me. I felt like they could have done a lot more with it. And then also, one other point, Frigg, in Norse mythology, is Baldur's mom. Freya is not his mom. I understand that Kratos is not Zeus' son, but Kratos is also made up. So why do you have Freya as Baldur's mom when Frigg is his mom in actual Norse mythology? Why? So yeah, those, and also, I also didn't like how you were tutorialized to death in the menus, even 20 hours into the game. That's one thing I forgot to mention. But those are my complaints with God of War. I feel like the biggest problems with the game are Baldur himself. I feel like they could have done so much more with him when the other boss fights were really good. And I don't think that the relationship between Kratos and Atreus was very well done, especially when you're going to hold it up to something like Joel and Ellie. So.
All right. So 2 questions, and I want you to be careful how you answer. Just because of spoilers. I know you said you knew about the reveal at the end, but now does that reveal make your decision of the game any different?
No. You're talking about finding out that...
Well, don't...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it any different. I like how they tie back in. It's a ring composition. I like how they tie back... They tie back to the beginning. That's all I'll say. I don't want to tell you what character it ties back to, but they definitely do tie it back. And I like how that the finale of it isn't necessarily a boss fight. It's actually at the end of your journey. So I did like that. And my complaints about the final boss aside, really for me, in my experience, the final boss was the Queen of the Valkyries, which was a hell of a fight. So. But yeah, learning, they did a nice job with the ring composition and bringing it back, so that was a very nice storytelling element. But finding out, the identities of 2 specific characters in the end, I mean, it didn't do much for me.
And after you came off the mountain, did you go back home?
I did not. I'm still, after I came back down from the mountain, I immediately went and tried to fight the Queen Valkyrie. And then after, some failed attempts, I then went back to Niflheim to kind of build up resources and upgrade some armor and some weapons and some enchantments or pommels. And then I went back and fight the Valkyrie, and then ever since then I've been trying to get the Ravens because I'm trying to get that's the last trophy I need for the Platinum.
Next time you load up the game, just go home.
I am home.
You know what I mean. All right, let's
Can I
get
just
back
ask one?
to
Can I just
the
ask
rest-
one question before we move on? Yeah, are you happy that you played the game now, or are you regretting that you played it?
Well, I bought this game with $25 that Yield gave me for Christmas. So,
No, I don't mean financially.
So
I mean,
So it's Yield's fault.
No, like I said, I realize that I have some issues with the game. I don't understand how people can rate it so highly. I think that a lot of people rate it so highly because it's like, for the longest time, it's like, oh, really, God of War and Norse mythology, is this really going to work? And when they actually pulled it off, people are like, oh my god, this is amazing. I feel like the game has a lot of high points, and there are, as you can tell from what I said, I liked a lot about the game. So yes, I'm glad that I played it so that I could form my own opinion. Me having issues with the game, and big issues at that, because, I love my story-based games, and if I'm going to hold it against these other, like, Sony games, you're damn right I'm going to call you out if you don't do the best job you possibly can. So, I'm glad I played the game. I got a lot of fun out of it. And just because I've had issues with the game doesn't mean I think that you shouldn't play it, or that I don't understand why people enjoy it. It's just I have personal issues with the game that, for me, would keep it from being a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I see.
So if you're a God of War fan, and you want to play this game, or you're kind of sitting on the fence, I would tell you to play it. I mean, unless the things that I told you in kind of my review, not review, kind of turned you away. But for most people, I would say, yeah, you should play it because it is an enjoyable game with some flaws. I mean, that's any game, but I kind of hold God of War to a higher standard, especially since how everyone's raved about it. I don't think the praise that I think it deserves praise. The level of praise people have given it, I don't think it deserves.
All right, Yield.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
So,
That's going to be.
I tried to keep it as short as I
35
could. I'm
minutes into
sorry.
this show.
wow, what have I been playing? I've been listening to Alex play so much God of War. I think I've been playing God of War. No. So,
You haven't been playing Rock Band.
no, I haven't. Yeah, I played. No, that was 2 weeks ago. No, I didn't play Rock Band this week. I did play all 3 Jackbox parties. My niece came over to spend the night, so we were playing some Jackbox Party. Played some Red Dead Redemption. Freaking moose. That's all I'm going to say there. Finished Psychonauts, and then realized I made a grave error, and now I have to play it all over again.
That sucks.
So that's all right. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll come back to it. And speaking of Psychonauts, F the Meat Circus.
Is it the platforming and the camera?
The platforming and the camera. Freaking... But other than that, it was a fun level.
All right, CJ.
Yeah.
I'm not done!
No, keep going.
You said and finally.
Yeah, as in, there's another one after that.
No, you said and finally. Just, all right, keep going.
Okay. And I've been playing World of Warships Legends.
Is that still the beta, Yield?
No, if you did and I use my air quotes here, the pre-order, you got 4 days early access. So I bought the $30 pack so I could have a premium battleship, and I started playing Friday.
You sunk my battleship.
Yeah, that's happened a few times, but that's okay. I picked up a destroyer today. I jumped up to the destroyer line so I could start shooting some torpedoes. Man, I suck. I just need to stick with.
Well, we knew
I need
that.
to stick with the cruisers and the battleships, dude. I will run circles around you.
Yeah. Just
I'll tell you what.
I believe that just as much as I believe you're going to catch me in
I'll tell you
platinums.
what. On Tuesday, when it's available for everybody else, download it. I'll run circles around you.
Yield.
We all
Okay.
know, based on his experience with the Ratchet and Clank Racing, that Tricky's not really good in vehicles. So, I mean, you can't really expect much out of it.
That's not true.
Yield is.
CG, what have you been playing?
Yes.
Is that an online game or a single player game? I'm not familiar with it.
Online.
Online, okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah, you can either play people versus computer or people versus people.
Okay.
Right now, I don't think, at least with North America, I don't know if they're pooling everybody or not. I have run into a lot of games where sometimes I'll jump into player versus player just to kind of gauge how if I'm getting better. And then after the game ends, and I'm like, hey, I survived, we won, awesome. And then it shows everybody who was in the room, and like 3/4 of everybody was AI to fill the room. I'm like, oh. Well, hopefully it gets more populated Tuesday.
Cool.
Going player versus player just gets you more money and experience.
Okay.
Playing player versus computer, you don't get as much, but
Okay, cool.
And I don't think there's trophies, at least not yet. I haven't popped a single trophy.
Oh.
That's because you suck. CJ, what have you been playing, buddy?
That's cutting. What have I been playing? So I'll throw these four in because you never talk about spam games, even though you're Trophy Horse. So I played this Super Weekend mode, which is just awesome. This is by... the other two won't be familiar with these games, but maybe you are, Tricky. This Rat, whatever the name of that company is, that make all these 5-minute plats. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very familiar.
Yeah, well, this is their best effort yet.
Of course, he is.
I think they've reached the point now where they're just not including any game at all anymore, which is it's a fantastic achievement. So that's enough on that. But I know some people in your platinum community you'll play these sort of games too. So shout out to them. At that game.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
which is totally cool.
Yeah, no, of course, they're fun 5 minutes. That's all it is. But I don't know. I played some of the Grand Tour game. I know you like racing games, Yield. So I would recommend that.
How is that? I've seen you and Murder playing that. How is that?
Yeah, I really like it. So it's obviously based on the Amazon Prime TV show or whatever else. So it's basically just the episode, and then at the end of each sort of little segment, you get to do the driving task rather than just sort of watching it like you would in the episode or whatever. So it's quite fun. It's not a lot of gameplay. Like maybe 10 or 12 challenges per episode or something. It takes maybe an hour or so, but there's a lot of episodes. I mean, there's I think they're up to 14 episodes, and they threw in a couple of extras from the first and second season. So there's a ton of content. The trophies are a little bit funny. I think one of them might be glitched or something, so I don't know if that's important to you. Maybe watch out. But yeah, it's good. I would definitely recommend it. It's quite fun. And the plus is, I mean, for us here in Australia, we have the option to do Amazon Prime, but it's kind of expensive and it's not very common. So when you buy it, you actually get the TV show as well for the whole season. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
for us, yeah,
bang.
Yeah, it's good. So yeah, I'd recommend that. And then the other one I've been playing is Kingdom Hearts 3. So I don't know if this game interests any of you at all. I'm not sure that it interests me.
Wait, hold on. When I think of big games, Kingdom Hearts 3 certainly ranks high among those. Like I feel like that's a game that's going to suck up a lot of your time. So how does someone like you, sir, with over 600 platinums, wind up in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Well, I've had it since launch, and I'm up to the 4th world, so that sort of shows you the pace I'm moving at the moment. It's very, very slow and methodical, but...
No, it's not very fast.
But I do like, I mean, if you look deeply, there are some longer games. Like, I've played Final Fantasy XIV, I played that, and actually did all the expansions, which had no trophies. So I do play quite a few JRPGs and stuff as well. I don't always plat them, because some of them have ridiculous requirements for grinding and stuff, so it doesn't interest me. But yeah, no, Kingdom Hearts 3 is good. To be truthful, I only played a little bit of the first one, maybe like a couple of hours, and I just couldn't handle it. The game obviously is very dated. Which is fine or whatever else. It's a little bit obtuse as well. I'm not a big fan of areas where you don't really know where you're supposed to be going with level design. But that was the first one. The third one is much better in that sort of thing. And again, it appeals to people that like those Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions, any of those sort of things. You'd love a game like this. I think it's very light Final Fantasy, with the Disney characters, Goofy and Donald and stuff. So it's fun. It looks beautiful as well. And to be honest, I know there's this massive overarching story that's way over convoluted and no one really understands. But if you do jump in at 3, they do a pretty good job of explaining what you need to know. And then each of the worlds has a pretty self-contained story anyway. So you can almost just not worry about the overall thing and still, I think, get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it, And it's a very easy game too. I tend to play easy games, so that's a plus. But yeah, I don't know. I would, if you're into that game, you would already be on it, I imagine. But it's good, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I won't say anymore because as you guys know, I just play everything. So we could be here for.
Sounds very familiar.
We could be here forever.
All right, and the only thing I've been playing all week is Division 2. But actually, I've been more. Playing that first-person viewer of Netflix, trying to catch up on all my shows before season premieres and stuff. So, all right, so let's get into our topics. Give me a hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Sony is finally letting us change our PSN name.
Boo! Except for the guy who's sitting here and changed his PSN name.
You don't like it?
It took me a minute to realize who it was. I'm like, man, who is that? Oh, okay.
All right. Sony has announced that players can now change their names in the United States and in Europe.
Oh,
The online ID change feature for the PSN, announced on the PlayStation blog, will be accessible from a web browser, free to use for the first change. Any further changes will cost $10 or $5 for Plus members. Of course, this is dollars. If you want euros, it's $7.99 and $3.99. Should you decide to change your ID to, you decide your new ID is not what you want, you can change as many times you like or revert back to your ID for free. Your old ID will be available to you, as others cannot claim it, as you should be able to rename your profile. To aid your friends on PSN, your old ID may be displayed next to your new ID on your profile for 30 days. That is bullshit, because there's a lot of people on my list now that have no idea who the fuck you are because they don't know. It's not showing you old
That's
name.
because you can choose not to show it as well if you don't want to. So that's what they've chosen.
Well, fuck you, Sony. You should not be doing. I have no idea who the hell I'm talking to. Somebody changed their name to Trophy Hunter. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
I like it.
And he's only got 60 platinum, so you know what? Suck it. But yeah, so you can change your ID.
To be fair, that person didn't say Platinum Hunter, they said Trophy Hunter. They may have 1 million bronzes.
That's true. Point taken.
That's true. You can't judge these people. Sometimes I get these random... I never understand why people send friend requests when they have no intention of talking to you or messaging you. They just randomly like you or something. And I get some pretty funny requests from people that have like 13 platinums and they call themselves trophy hunters or platinum hunters or whatever. And it's like, good luck. That's awesome. Everyone's doing their own thing, I guess. But you can never judge people.
I love when I get a friend request and they're like, "Oh, I listened to the show." Okay. Who are you?
That's right.
I appreciate it, but you listen to the show, but you had never written into the show, but all of a sudden you want to be my PSN friend? I mean, don't take me wrong. I'll be your friend, but it's just a little weird. It's like, I'm a big fan of the show. Yeah? Then why have we never heard from you?
Well, I think that's the nature. I mean, I don't want to move away from your topic, but it's the nature of PSN gaming. I mean, I'm sure you guys have plenty of people that are sort of friends or gaming friends that you've never really spoken to or anything, and you're just like, it's a little strange, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see the numbers of downloads that this show gets every week, and that's good. I mean, it's an impressive number. But I don't think... because Yield and Alex know the numbers. I think maybe less than 1% of the people have reached out, and we know who the hell they are.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, we all have those friends on PSN. I've had friends that I've added, and I've never played a single game with them, nor spoken to them
Nor
on the
PSN.
And yet, I mean, every once in a while I'll go through and clean out my PSN friend list. But, I mean, there's probably, I'd say, maybe a fourth of them are those people who I never communicate with and never play with.
Yeah. It's just how it is.
All right. So our second bit of news...
Just
Star
before you go
Wars
on to that, so
Jedi
none of you are going to
Fallen-
change your name. You're all happy, are you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
happy
keeping
with
mine.
name.
I gave thought into my name. It's staying.
Fair enough.
I think the only whores that ever said they were going to change their name was Donnie, and he said he's only going to change it to use capitalization in his name.
Yep.
All right. So going back, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, we have a release date, a trailer, and gameplay
know what?
details.
Until I see it on the store shelf, I don't believe it. And I've watched the trailer.
After a couple teases, EA and Respawn Entertainment have finally revealed the first details of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, including its release date on which platforms players can expect it. EA has given Star Wars, I'm not reading the full name every time, a release date of November 15th this year, and it will be released on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and via EA Origin. As Respawn, the studio behind Titanfall and Apex Legends, EA has announced in the hours lead up to the panel that it's a single-player game with no multiplayer elements or microtransactions.
Okay, well, there's a couple of pluses, but until it's on the store shelves, I don't believe it.
Jedi Fallen Order story falls on the timeline of Star Wars canon shortly after Revenge of the Sith. EA has previously revealed the story will focus on a young Padawan, but Respawn confirmed today that the character is Cal Kestis, And you will know the actor if you ever watch Shameless or Gotham. It's Cameron Monaghan. He's the redhead on Shameless, and he also plays the Joker on Gotham.
Wait, hold on. Before we go on, opinions on Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker, because I love the casting.
I have to see the movie. I can't. I think he's going to do a fantastic job, but I don't want to give it my seal of approval until I see the movie.
I agree with that.
But I think if anyone can out, because I think Joaquin Phoenix is a better actor than Heath Ledger. While Heath Ledger did a fantastic job as the Joker, if anyone can outdo that and become the Joker, I think it's Joaquin Phoenix.
But it's two different Jokers again.
I understand that.
You can't compare Jack Nicholson's Joker to...
People are going to do it, and you know they will.
There is only one Joker.
Well, Mark Hamill gave his blessing to Joaquin Phoenix, so there you go.
All right. Back to the Star Wars game.
Okay, back to the Star Wars.
Cal has survived Order 66, the Emperor's decree to eliminate the Jedi. According to EA Respawn, players must pick up the pieces of Cal's shattered past to complete his training and master the art of the iconic lightsaber, all while staying one step ahead of the Empire and its deadly people. It doesn't say people, but that's the word I'm using because I can't say that word right now. So, again, we're getting a new Star Wars game coming out before the movie. And by the way, that the trailer for the new movie.
I wouldn't go that far, but
oh, come on!
I didn't hate it, but I don't love it.
Something's wrong with you.
In the name of the movie, in the name of the new movie, nah, man, it sucks.
Okay, we can have a conversation because we're getting a little long here. We'll have a conversation about the Star Wars trailer next week, and we'll fully go into it. We'll spend half an hour on that instead of Alex's shitty review of God of War.
I found it refreshing.
I'm allowed to have my own opinion about the game, even though you're like, you remember the meme.
We're not going down that path.
Hold on.
Again.
You remember the meme that Jared shared about the Loot Bros and how there was the "I Can't Stop Coming" meme when the Loot Bros were talking about Bloodborne? That's you about God of War.
I don't. No. I don't bring up God of War every week. I just tell you your opinion's wrong.
But my opinion's wrong. But yet you just can't accept that someone didn't like the game as much as you.
No. I am perfectly fine with you not enjoying the game as much as me. I am not fine with you not admitting that Stranger fight was the best superhero fight in a video game ever.
No, it was not. And oh God.
All right. We're not going down.
I think you guys need to look for a sponsorship from
also,
them. You're giving them plenty of airtime.
we do Celebrity Deathmatch. IGN got to sit down with Respawn's Stig Asmussen.
Good Zoom tight.
Do you know who that is?
Yes, he was the game director behind God of War 3.
Yes, he was. I just want to make sure that you're on top of things.
Yeah, I wanted to say 2, but then I remember that was Corey. 3 was Stig. But yeah, so we have a new Star Wars game coming. What are your thoughts and comments on that, guys?
So, I enjoyed the trailer from what I saw, but again, there have been many Star Wars games that have gone off of not based on the original trilogy, that had excellent cutscenes and have either people love them or they completely hate them, kind of fallen short. So, until it's on the store shelves, I don't believe it. Because I'm still a little miffed that I didn't get my 1313 / Amy Hennig Star Wars game / whatever.
Don't fuck it up. That's what I have to say, because there have been too many shitty Star Wars games out there.
CJ, did you see the trailer?
I wasn't going to say anything. To be honest, I'm not a big Star Wars fan.
Okay, I kind of figured when you didn't say anything. Not a Star Wars fan.
All right, so our next topic is Horizon Zero Dawn's actress says a sequel is in development. Well, duh.
Was it a Horizon Zero Dawn actress? I thought I read it was a Star Wars voice actor that said, "You will lose your shit when you see the new Horizon Zero Dawn."
Okay, forgive me for pronouncing the name, because I'm going to mess this up. Janina Gavin Carr, who voiced Ty in the Frozen Wilds DLC, may have spilled the beans on a potential sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Color me surprised.
Via a Reddit post from user Ninjet, Gavin Carr, again, I'm butchering the name, who portrayed Eden Verso in Star Wars Battlefront 2, was speaking with fans at Star Wars Celebration Chicago when she made the potential slip. A fan thanked her for the voice, introducing her to Horizon Zero Dawn, to which she replied, "Just wait till you see the sequel. You're going to die. I know some secrets. You're going to die." While her character was only present in the game's DLC, she did have an open narrative thread where she was headed to Sundom to learn how to harvest machines. Because of this continuation, the character could return in a sequel, meaning that she may have some knowledge of the development. Now, I'm going to lead this off with Alex first because I know Alex was the biggest Horizon fan here. So, Alex, what do you think about this? I mean, like, this is pretty much done. Like, we knew a sequel was coming, but how excited are you? And do you think she actually made the slip on purpose, or this is just starting the hype as we're going to get a Horizon announcement sometime this year?
I think just by the context of the conversation, I think it was just a slip. I think it was inadvertent, but I don't think that it's something that she's going to regret because the end of the game last time set up a sequel. We all knew a sequel was coming, especially with how well the game reviewed, how well it sold. So this is Sony's new franchise, or one of their new franchises, and that's what people do. Is they don't really just do one-off games; they do sequels. That's where a lot of the money is. You create a brand name, and then you follow with that. So the first game set up a sequel, and I love the first game. It's probably my favorite game on the PlayStation 4. Shadow of the Colossus doesn't count because it was a remake, but I think Horizon Zero Dawn is the best game on the PlayStation 4. Or at least my favorite. You know what? No, fuck it. I'll say it's the best one on there.
No, there you go. I totally agree.
But I'm very excited. I'll buy it day one. Horizon Zero Dawn was the first game in a long time that I bought day one. I just don't do that all that often. So this is another game that I'll buy day one, and it says a lot. Like Uncharted 4, I waited to play. Most games I wait to play, but this is an instant play for me. So I'm very excited to know it's coming, even though I kind of expected it in the first place.
There's nothing else to add to that, Alex. You were right.
Well, I mean, you can add your own 2 cents, Yield. I mean, did you play the first game, Yield? I can never remember.
Yeah, I've got the platinum. The only 2 trophies I don't have is the new Game Plus trophies. That 2 trophy pack, which I was thinking the other day. Man, I need to go back and play Horizon.
Yeah, it's been enough time because that game came out in 2017. It's been enough time where I could go back and play it again and not feel because usually. Like, I'll play as many playthroughs as I have to get all the trophies the first time around. Kind of burns me out a little bit. But it's been enough time where I feel like getting close to finishing the Platinum for God of War, like, if I'm going to play something on the PlayStation, it very might well be that one next.
Horizon Zero Dawn was one of the first games where I read everything that you collect.
Can I?
Because you had your audio that you collected, but then if you went into the audio, there was actually a little bit more to it than just what you got to hear. So I went in and I read everything, even all the like the books or the scripts that you pick up. I would read all of it. And they did such an amazing job of filling in everything that happened in this world leading up to where you're at now and where you're going. I was just bravo, and yeah, you knew there was going to be a sequel, so...
I mean, we talked about, like, story was a huge part for Tricky and God of War. The Last of Us is another huge story game. This game was a game that we saw mostly, like, the gameplay for and the action for, and you didn't know what to expect from the story. It took things far deeper than you ever expected. It was a great surprise. I mean...
It dwarfs anything God of War did.
I agree with that, despite what Tricky might say. But I think that Guerrilla Games, having mostly done the Killzone games, not really a lot of story in that, not a great deep story in that. I think people just didn't expect a whole lot, or really just didn't know what to expect, and what they got was a very pleasant surprise and a very deep story. CJ, did you play Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, I played it. I didn't play the DLC or not yet, but I did the plat. I was the same as Yield. I didn't do the new game plus for the extra trophies yet either. But
did you play the Frozen Wild? Because that was a DLC.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I haven't got to that yet. I just did the base game. And the thing, I mean, I don't know what to say here because you're obviously 2 mega fans, but Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I have to admit, when I saw your schedule today, Star Wars and then Horizon, I had to laugh because neither of them interest me that much. But look, I thought it was a fine. I know. Look, I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I think it was a massive achievement for that studio, definitely. But I just don't understand the hype around this game at all. Like, I mean, this game came 2 years after The Witcher. Like, I was just looked it up. So 2017. I don't know if either of you played The Witcher 3. Yeah, but look, I think this game is like a kiddie's first like open world game in a way. Like, it's like, I understand what you're saying, the story, whatever, you know, and the stuff, but I don't think it's pushed any boundaries really at all. I think it's a very safe formula. It's not a huge bow to draw from that game to Assassin's Creed in the gameplay. I'm not talking the story and stuff, and I don't. Like, I mean, I know it says it sold 10 million, like everybody who owns a PlayStation bought it, you know, whoop-de-doo, but I don't, as I said, I don't think it's bad at all, and I'm sure the next one will go on to sell tons, but it surprises me that you're so passionate for this game, but I don't see that many dissimilarities between this and God of War in the way it's sort of designed and the base design and structure, you know, and I don't know, I think they could have done a lot more, really.
All right, CJ, I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
In the next day or so, go on to I'm trying to remember the guy's name right now. Danny O'Dwyer. He does a YouTube video series called No Clip. And he did a documentary on them making Horizon and like all the steps they went through to make this game. I think you'll find that very interesting. And when you talk about how this was a safe play for Guerrilla, I have to disagree. After watching that documentary, this was a major step for Guerrilla Games. And yeah, while
but it's not a major step in what's available in 2017. I don't think it at all.
No, but it's a major step for them. So when you say this was, you know, I forget your words, but that this was like a safe game for them, or a safe, you know, game. I think that's fairly accurate in the fact that like Guerrilla going from first person to a massive open world RPG. Yeah, I get why Horizon's the way it is, but that still does not take away how
this is
good Horizon
where I disagree with you. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
because I hear this all the time, and this is why I think this is because, like, yes, it's a big world, but it's like you've got your quest line or whatever else, but the collectibles have no real relevance to it. Like the cups, I think they were or something, and it's like it's hedging its bets. Like, it's not a Final Fantasy open world game. It's not going that deep. It doesn't go as deep as The Witcher. It's like it's sort of like a Spider-Man. Like it's great. It's fine. It's fun, but it's just, I don't know, 20 hours or whatever else, and you move on. I don't think of that game anymore. Like, I mean, you two are Uber fans, but maybe you recall the story well, but it didn't really stick with me. And I think the ending was, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's an easy way to create another game from the ending they put in. But, yeah, as I said, I don't want to bash the game, although I sort of do. But I don't think it's amazing for the time at all. Like, I think it's a lovely, fun time, but I don't think it says much. And, you know, like, I mean, do either of you still recall the story well? Do you think?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. It resonated more with you. But see, I don't know, you guys don't play a lot of JRPGs, do you?
No.
Or more extreme. So I think if you come from that side, it does look a little bit weaker. You know, if you come more from the Witcher or maybe the Assassin side, then yeah, it's in that style, I suppose. So maybe I would have liked more content. You know, they built the world. They could have just put more into it. Like, almost, I don't know. Like, if it was...
Well, they kind of did that with the Frozen Wilds. Is that it was DLC, but the DLC was actually baked into the original story. So if you have both of them, you literally play Horizon, and you never really realize you're playing the DLC because it's already baked into it so well.
Yeah, I understand that, but also the DLC came out well after the game did. The base game.
Absolutely.
So you can't expect people to, well, I mean, it depends how many games you're playing, but you forget stuff. You forget how to play the game in a way, reflex reactions or whatever. So if you played it at launch compared to when they finally, and the DLC was a long wait, I remember. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
Well, I mean, the plus about having the DLC come out far later is people play a game, they put a lot of hours in the game because it was a long game. You get a time in the middle to rest and then come back to it. It also gets the game in Game of the Year conversations because the game came out very early in the year, and then typically in Game of the Year conversations, people think of what they played at the end of the year. But I think for me, it wasn't necessarily the structure of the game, that it was an open world game, it was the story and the characters, and especially Aloy. I thought that was what really drove the game. And to your point about the collectibles being kind of not useful, I mean, you could see that in God of War, because all the collectibles you get in that game, the artifacts, you sell to Brock, and they're just displayed on shelves in his shops. So those really have no value in the game other than giving you hack silver, which by the end of the game, you have far too much of anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm just much more excited for the second one, because I think it'll take on, like, if you look at the way Assassin's going now, where they're just adding stuff all the time, I'm sure this next one will be of a similar vein, so it will live longer, I suppose. Yeah.
And I do want to say that if you have a different opinion from mine, like if Horizon Zero Dawn was not your cup of tea, I can definitely respect that. That's perfectly fine. Just because I take to a game doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to take to a game. So, I mean, we all have different tastes, different genres we like to play in. So, your opinion is perfectly valid. You're not the only person that said that about Horizon Zero Dawn.
No. I had to be a little bit passionate there, because anyone that knows me knows my position on that game. So if I didn't say anything, they would have called me a suck out or a sellout. So yeah. So I've defended my position. So we can continue.
I kind of feel like that not your cup of tea comment was directed to me from Alex about.
No, but I think it's because CJ made a comment about, you know, us being big fans of it and him not really being a fan and like maybe offending us. That I think it's okay to have different opinions about things, whether it be music, movies, video games. It's okay. I mean, you don't shit on someone's opinion just because it doesn't mesh with yours.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So our last topic before we get into our topic of the week, Sony has filed a patent for VR-compatible prescription glasses. I'm hearing a giggle already.
I think that's great.
And the glasses theoretically would work with PlayStation VR and would utilize eye tracking to help improve performance for those who use corrective lenses. As reported, the patent looks like to solve the issue of improper eye tracking while using prescription glasses with the VR headsets. Due to the glasses' lenses, the quote direction of the gaze cannot be determined as accurately. This causes blurriness, distortion, reflections, and more, especially since the glasses might not stay 100% in place either. Sony believes the solution in making the prescription glasses the source of eye tracking as opposed to the VR headset itself. The glasses would contain technology that could detect when a VR headset is being worn and would activate sensors to detect the user's gaze and transmit it back to the VR display. The VR headset, which would likely be a newer model of the PlayStation VR, might have a camera to further detect the physical position of the glasses and provide greater tracking for those wearing lenses during play.
So do you reckon there'll be a rush on VR all of a sudden?
No.
Well, I mean, the way I look at this is at least they're supporting the VR and they're looking for solutions to people that might not be able to do a VR. I mean, you look at somebody like Steven who says he can't do VR because he gets vertigo. You get somebody who's wearing glasses, they say they can't do VR because it's not tracking their eyes or they're not doing this. Like, at least they're making an effort to say, hey, listen, we understand these issues. Let's give you prescription glasses that will help you play VR. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I just wish they would remove the cords, design the system without the cords.
Until they can get rid of lag, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. So, a little bit about...
Oh, I don't get to comment on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead, please.
I just think that... I think they've made some really nice games from VR. I guess I can't really fully comment not knowing the sales of VR, but
I think last time was 2.5
it seems
million.
like a really big investment in this technology for something that's not really giving Sony a lot of money back, to be honest.
You know what? Okay. Oh, I take that back. Sony has sold 4.2 million VR headsets.
And how many PlayStation 4s on the wild? A lot more than that.
I think last count was over 80 million.
So at this point, is VR really worth it for Sony? Is investing in this new technology really worth it when such a small amount of your install base actually has it?
It's hard to argue and say yes, but I think so, yes, because at least Sony is supporting it. I mean, how many Vitas were sold out there and they don't support that no more?
But, well, they didn't support it all that well when it was out in the first place. But is something like this really going to... I mean, it would be nice if we could ask Steven. I'm sure we can, get a question out to him on the messenger chat and he can answer. But is this something like this really going to get someone like him to buy VR?
I don't know if this will solve his vertigo problems.
But it's not just technical difficulty. Does somebody actually want to spend money on VR and play the games?
I did.
Well, you buy every piece of new technology you can.
Okay, yes, but see, I don't use the VR just for video games. I watch like WrestleMania. I watch it in VR. Mm-hmm. I watch concerts in VR. It's not just gaming. Now, granted, you could do this on an Oculus. You could do this on a Vive. You could do this on the other thing, like. The Goddess just like at PAX East was able to play Beat Saber. Now she wants me to buy Beat Saber for home. She was able to play Dance Central. You saw the video on the Facebook group of her playing Dance Central. Like she's invested into the VR. Like she wants me to buy an Oculus Go, which is the wireless headset that doesn't require a camera, doesn't require wires, doesn't require your phone. It's just everything's built into the headset itself. So yeah, like I see VR taking off. It's just right now everybody is. I don't want to say like they're scared, but it's going to take a little time to get into it because people have to be convinced that it's going to work for them. You got people that are because people say VR makes you queasy. VR gives you vertigo. There's people that have glasses that are worried about, scratching up the lenses because they wear glasses. And do they take off their glasses? Do they wear, what are the things you put in your eyes? Contacts. Thank you. Like, there's so many questions out there because it's such an uncertain technology. And Alex, you do have a point that, is VR going to solve everybody's problem? No. But at least PlayStation is saying, hey, listen, we know that if you wear glasses, you might have an issue with this. Maybe Sony turns around and says, okay, listen, you buy a PlayStation VR headset, we'll give you these pair of glasses for free. You just got to tell us your prescription so we can send you the right glasses.
I think the real problem I don't know what your opinion is, but I think the real problem they have with VR is the cost of the PS4 itself. Like they have to make the VR comparable, and that's the crux of the problem. Like if you have a decent high-end PC and you spend a couple of thousand, you're prepared to spend similar perhaps on a VR headset, but when you spend like 400 or 400 Australian or whatever on a PS4, that almost caps what they can sell the VR for, and I think the technology is just not advanced enough at that range. I mean, you must concede we're early adopters, people that own it. So, if anything, it needs to be a lot more so they have more, I think they're obviously running it at a loss, so.
Well, when the VR came out, it launched at $400 and, I bought it then. Now, because I just looked up PSVR sales and just on the, like when you Google something, how it has like the top 5 selling things, the most popular things. Yeah. I'm looking at this right now. PlayStation VR Astrobot bundle that comes with Moss. It's $250.
Yeah.
So not only are you getting a headset for $150 cheaper than what I got it for, but you're also getting 2 games with it. I've seen it on eBay, and I'm seeing a PlayStation VR bundle right now. Not that this is really going to apply to anybody, but at Brooklyn Video. That comes with the headset, the camera, and Doom VR for $150.
Yeah, but I think that's sort of my point. That you get what you pay for. I think almost it would be better to have a more expensive unit that's a little bit more developed. And I wonder, like 2.5 million people bought it. I'd say 2.5 million people probably would have paid $800 for it. To be honest, I don't think too many people are buying it that are sitting on the fence. You've sort of already committed to supporting it, so. I think
it was actually 4.2 million.
Xbox did it with the X1. They took the plunge and put the price up, and it sort of worked for them in a way. But there is a market, I think, in this technology for paying more, perhaps, to get a better, I don't know, you use it a lot by the sound of it. I use it. I would prefer it cost a little bit more, and maybe fix the picture up a bit, or try and look at removing wires or something, rather than make it cheaper and cheaper, because I don't think it's going to get too many more people in the way it is at the moment. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, and also they have released a second version of the VR headset. I don't know if it's officially 2.0, but there's one where the headset is actually built into the VR headset, because the one I have now also doesn't have HDR pass through.
Yeah, that's
not that really matters, because the TV that I have it hooked up to is not a 4K television.
Mm-hmm.
But in the future, when I do get a 4K television for my studio, I'm going to want the HDR playthrough. So at some point, I will be upgrading my VR headset. When? I don't know. Right now, if they launch it tomorrow, there's no need for me to go get it. But as Alex pointed out, I probably will just go buy it.
Yeah. Why not?
All right, so guys, give you a little update on Sophie's Trophies. You guys noticed in the last couple of weeks we haven't had a Sophie's Trophy. Apparently, Sid is a little burnt out on just getting trophies. He was feeling like he was to a point where he was buying games just to be able to do Sophie's Trophies. And Alex told him, he says, that's no way to do that. Take a break, relax, play some games for fun, and then when you're ready to come back, come back. So Sid is taking a little bit of a break. So for the time being, we will not be having a Sophie's Trophies every week. All right, so let's get to our topic of the week.
Topic of the week,
which I know is yielded Alex's favorite topic. Yeah, because we're gonna be talking PlayStation.
It's like
5.
the soup du jour, and today's soup du jour is PlayStation 5 cost leaks.
All right, coming from a website called Game Rant, and an article by Dalton Cooper. I'm trying to. I want to get the facts here. He says that the rumors that we got going, the latest rumors surrounding the PlayStation 5 stems from someone claiming to be a third-party developer in Europe working on a AAA PS5 launch title who has apparently leaked some of the first details about the console, including its price point. The supposed developer posted this information, and while anyone could have posted it and it's legitimately impossible to verify at this stage, it's gaining traction online regardless. According to the post, the PlayStation 5 will be officially announced as early as June, with a March 2020 or November 2020 release date. It also claims the PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible. It will offer a PlayStation Plus premium service with a 2 terabyte built-in hard drive, 8K upscaling, and support for an upgraded PlayStation VR headset. Additionally, the PlayStation 5 will come with a DualShock 5 controller that will have a camera inside that has something to do with VR. According to the leaker, all of this will come at a $499 price point, which is $100 more than the PlayStation 4 when it launched back in 2013. Considering the price point points to the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One, the $499 start price for the PlayStation 5 is actually pretty believable. Even so, those looking forward to the PlayStation 5 should take this information with a massive grain of salt. After all, anyone could post random stuff and try to pass it off as a legitimate video game leak, and that could very well be what's happened here. The supposed leak does not regurgitate other rumors about the PlayStation 5, like its backwards compatibility. It does regurgitate. So, depending on one perspective, you can either let it to some credibility or prove that the leaker is making things up and using past leaks to make it more realistic. So, all that being said, there's a lot of information there. I know we speculated that possibly Sony wasn't doing an E3 conference this year because they were focusing on the PlayStation 5 release and announcements. Does any of this sound believable to you? Let's start it off with you.
Yeah. As for, the price point and including VR, all the other specs of it, I don't know. The June announcement That would be around E3, so I guess if you're trying to steal some Xbox thunder, that would be a good time. I don't know, $500. Eeh.
Well, okay, let's go with this. 2 terabyte hard drive. That good news for you? Bad news for you?
Indifferent, really. A bigger hard drive is always nicer because then you don't have to worry about upgrading your hard drive, so to speak. But I think they're trying to say with a 2 terabyte hard drive that most people are going digital. The thing that got kind of piqued my interest was the rumor of a PlayStation Plus Premium. I kind of want to know more about that because if they're trying to sort of annex us or force you to go another tier, I don't know if I like that.
All right, what about the backwards compatibility? You have any interest in that?
I always like the option, but like it's been said, once you kind of fully move on, you don't really go back. But I think Xbox and how popular it was with their backwards compatibility kind of forced Sony's hand. Kind of the same thing with the whole cross-game chat.
Alex, what do you think about all these rumors?
Well, I don't like the rumor of VR being kind of forced into it because obviously that's going to raise the price. And I'm going to be honest, this is going to be $100 less than the PS3 when it launched. And, you know, forcing people to do Blu-ray, it worked out for Sony in the end. I don't necessarily know that forcing people to deal with VR or make them pay for that technology when they may not want to use it is a good idea. For me, $500 is too much.
All right, well, I don't want to cut you off, but it doesn't say it's coming with a VR headset. It's saying it has support for an upgraded VR headset and that the DualShock 5 will have a camera inside should you have a VR.
Yeah, but that camera's going to add cost.
True, but all right. I'm not going to argue that point because you're right about that. But I think that it's pretty much inevitable. CJ, what do you think?
Well, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Okay.
If $500 for me is too much, I'm not going to... If that's the price point at day one, I'm not going to buy it. I'll wait until it goes down in price. The backwards compatibility, people have complained at Sony for years that they want backwards compatibility back, so that sounds legit. We saw the patent for it. So, going all the way back to PS1 games, so I think that that's potentially... I definitely think that has some steam behind it. So nothing in this sounded really... none of it sounded kind of outlandish. Nothing that I would call bullshit on immediately.
AK upscaling? What about that?
Upscaling is something we've seen on a lot of consoles, and you think of, remakes and stuff like that, and how they always talk about upscaling. I think that, that's not far-fetched either. Upscaling has been used in a lot of video game systems before, to make games look better, to make old games look better, so upscaling to me isn't really... I don't think that I would call bullshit on that either. But I think that we've heard so many rumors about the PlayStation 5 for years now, and I think that this is coming at a time now where, unless you tell me that a baby elephant comes with every single PlayStation 5 sold, I think that I would, I would at least take it at fair value. I would be like, okay, well, maybe, and then, look into it. But I feel like all this stuff sounds legitimate or could be possible. And it's just, to me, it's not just crazy.
All right, CJ?
I don't know. I suppose it's all seems believable. I wonder if, people are really... do you really need a PS5? Is the PS4 that bad at the moment? Do you feel it's that dated? I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, a lot... All right, to be fair, back when the PlayStation 4 was announced, a lot of people said, is the PS3 that bad? Do we need the PS4? We're always going to have that conversation. If Donnie was here, shout out to Donnie, Donnie would tell you, we don't need it, why are they doing this? Donnie was always a hater of the upgraded consoles, the next...
Well, I do agree we don't need it yet.
But here's the question: we've had the PlayStation 4 for what, 6 years now?
Oh dear God, it's so ancient.
I wonder.
And you've had a PS4 Pro for what, 2 years? Which is basically the PS5.
Okay, but Sony always talks about a 10-year console life cycle for their consoles. Like, normally around year 5 or 6 and 7 is when we get the announcement for the new game, the new console, and it's always, the rumors are starting. Oh, this is the last console we're ever going to own. This is the last one's going to have a disc. This is the last one to do this. Oh, you launched the PlayStation 4. What about 4K? Oh, well, we're not doing 4K. And then you get the upgrade consoles. Oh, well, these do 4K. Oh, yeah, but you don't have a 4K drive in yours. Like, there's always going to be haters, and I'm not calling you guys haters. What I'm saying is there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people going, I don't need this. Like, at this point, to be honest, I don't know what the PlayStation 5 could give me that the PlayStation 4 or Pro doesn't give me. Like,
see,
I don't know. CJ,
I just wonder, like, I don't know, like, it's a bit of a tough one, I suppose, because I play on multiple consoles. I know most of you do as well, to varying degrees or whatever else. So it was a little bit different in the PS3 era. Now you've got the Switch is like, is a proper choice now, like a definite possibility. You've got the X, which is...
Well, I would argue with that.
Okay. Well, you've got the X, which is, is great as well. So they're, and I mean... Like, I'd be fascinated in how many people own all 3 systems, or at least 2 of the 3 systems. And I think for those people, I think the PS4 sits sort of... I think Sony made a misstep when the X came out and the Pro came out. I think they should have maybe tried to match it a little bit more. But, it is what it is there. And I think now that's put them in a position. But for myself, like I find the PS4 fine. Like, if I want to play something for graphics, I won't play it on PlayStation. I play it on the X on a 4K TV. And I know people go, oh, there's no difference. But anyone that does on a decent setup would know that there's a massive difference. So, that's not a valid point. But, I think the PS4 sits, like, in the middle for me. Like, I suppose I do most of my gaming there, and I don't find any limitations on it. But, I don't know, like... I mean, it's different. I know, Tricky, but you buy everything, so it's fine. But, sort of so do I. But, for
I don't buy everything. Come
how's
on.
Darksiders 3 going? Anyway, so,
I haven't played it in about a month and a half.
So...
But I have the collector's edition.
I know. I saw the price tag on that thing. So I don't know. But as you sort of said, like, I suppose, whether you need to upgrade straight away will be more of the question, or whether you'll just be happy to stay. I wonder what it will sell to people like me to make me want to upgrade. Because if it's just a slight bump across the system, and an extra terabyte, that doesn't matter to me, I don't think, at this point.
All right, so let me ask you a question, Alex.
I'm here.
You said that if it comes out at $500, you're not going to buy it. You're going to wait for a price drop.
Yeah.
Let me just throw a question at you. And I know you're going to be stubborn and give the answer that I don't want you to answer. But let's say the PlayStation 5 comes out, it's $500. Your current PlayStation 4 breaks. You're going to replace it. Are you going to buy another PS4, or are you just going to get an upgrade to the PS5?
I mean, I do have a Switch.
You follow the scenario here.
We've already bought a bunch of games for the Switch, so I would be more than happy to continue playing that until the price goes down for the PlayStation 5. God of War is the first...
That's not the scenario.
God of War is the first...
You're going to replace it.
Okay, but I'm telling you, there are other factors in the scenario that are muddling it. If my PlayStation 4 broke, and it's like, hey, pay $500 for PlayStation 5, no, I would not buy it right now, because I'll just play the Switch, because God of War is the first game for the PlayStation I've bought in a while, and until The Last of Us 2 or Horizon 2 come out, I'm not buying a game for the PlayStation, or planning to at least. Sorry, Days Gone. But if you're saying, hey...
What?
Okay, if you're saying, hey, Alex, are you going to buy another PlayStation 4 if yours breaks? The only way I would do that is if I don't get the Platinum in God of War, and my PlayStation somehow breaks, and I still have to get Ravens. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll just buy the 4 so I can get this damn Platinum. But barring that, if my PlayStation 4 broke, and I had the choice of buying a PlayStation 4 or just waiting for the 5, I would just wait for the 5 to go down in price.
Do you know what I think also is most interesting? Like, you guys haven't touched on it, but I think it's becoming far more what game you want to play as to what system you buy now. And, Sony has a lot of issues going forward with censorship. There's a lot of things, that aren't great. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've noticed in the last year, people start to talk about they play the PlayStation, they play the exclusives, but they don't talk about other things. And I think most people that own multiple consoles, maybe they've already made the switch and they're playing these other, cross-platform games on other platforms as well. I don't know, like 2020, that's when we're going to start to see what Microsoft is doing with, the 101 studios they just bought. And, maybe the games won't... Yeah, they
101
won't be out
studios.
yet, but you'll have an idea. And, if they don't play nice with Sony, which, I don't see why they should, maybe those games will be like, well, rather than buy a PS5, I'll buy an Xbox if I don't have one. I'll save the money and do that because I'd rather play these games and I can keep playing what I have on the PS4, I don't know. I think they're at the top of the tree, but I don't think a lot's happening. And I think the games will drive what happens a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring out on the 5, what comes out. I don't know what you think about that, but
I mean, I'm crazy enough to, if the PlayStation 5 comes out and they say it's $600, I'll buy it. I mean, just because I gotta have to do with some greatest. But
can I ask, did you try and buy one of those limited edition consoles? Are you that far gone, or? Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I did. I can't even lie.
Did you get one?
I
or?
did.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I went so far to look on eBay to see if somebody was selling it. When somebody was selling it, the cheapest one I saw on eBay was $1,200.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But I did get one of the controllers.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Division 2 looks better on PS5, won't we?
Oh boy.
Oh, triggered.
It's all right.
No, I'm not triggered, but no, it's fine. It's just I'm just thinking about
Shots
the two.
fired.
I'm just thinking about the 2 trophies at the glitch.
I can help you with one of those after. I'll give you a tip.
Yeah, well, what's pissing me off more about Division 2 is right now is I'm trying to find. Did you get all the hunters?
No, not yet.
Okay, there's 2 hunters that 2 weeks ago you had to do like a certain steps and then they spawned and you had to one-shot them or they run away. And you can only get it at night and you can only do it under these conditions, blah, 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 blah. And you they couldn't see you. If they saw you, they ran away and all this other stuff. Then they patched it to make one of the hunters just appear and actually stay and fight you. Mm-hmm. Then they patched the other one, which you have to go shoot certain windows in a certain order, and they spawns. I can't get this mofo to spawn. So then I'm getting pissed off, so I just run back to a checkpoint. And the original way to get that hunter, because when you go to get a hunter, like your screen gets all staticky to let you know a hunter's near. Mm. And then I saw that mofo, and I was like, "Fuck! Now I don't have the ammo to take him down." Because I wasn't planning to do it that way. So I saw the guy, finally, but I couldn't shoot him because I didn't have the right ammo.
Mm-hmm. You know the trick with those sort of trophies, though, those random ones? You just go out for the night, have a few drinks or whatever, just be sort of barely there, come back, play, and you'll get it. You won't know what's going on until the next day, but you'll have it somehow. That's how you do those ones.
All right, let's close out the show with some housekeeping.
Let's clean this shit up.
All right, CJ, I'm just letting you know, at some point during this, I'm going to put you to the test to see how well of a trophy horror listener you are.
Oh, no. Okay.
I do this to every guest.
Okay.
So I'm just warning you now. ProvenGamer.com is looking for some writers, podcasters, video editors, news reporters, and generalized help with the site. If you're interested in applying, go to ProvenGamer.com, click on the Help Wanted tab, and fill out the application, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. While you're there, be sure to check out all the articles and all of our videos. Speaking of our videos, they can be found on YouTube by doing a search for Official Proven Gamer. Also, you can catch me streaming at random times at twitch.tv/Proven Gamer, and you can even sub for free, but we'll tell you how you can do that later. If you want to get a hold of us, there are several ways to get a hold of us. CJ, what's our phone number?
I'm going to give you this because I know Yield doesn't know it. It's 330-PROVEN9, which is 330-776-8369.
Are you looking at the agenda?
No, I just memorize random numbers all the time, dude.
Yield, or do you want to call BS on that, or you want to call shenanigans?
You reckon that's right? No, is that the right number, Yield?
No, I find that absolutely hilarious. I just memorize random numbers all the time.
386 episodes. Yield still does not have it memorized. CJ, first time.
What are you talking about? I haven't looked at that thing in like 100 episodes.
Uh-huh. If you want to send us an email, you can send us an email at trophyhorrors@provengamer.com. That's trophyhorrors@provengamer.com. Once again, that's trophyhorrors@provengamer.com.
The business memorial email.
Send us the business. You can get a hold of us on Twitter. Contact the site at Proving Gamer. Contact the show at Trophy Wars. Contact me at Tricky Mick. Contact Yield at I Yield to No One. Contact Alex at Saundersaurus Rex. Contact Steven at Batchild27. And CJ, I don't know your Twitter handle.
I don't use Twitter, so that's okay.
That's why I don't know your Twitter handle. If you listen to this podcast, we greatly appreciate it, but be sure
Hey, I know it is. If he had a Twitter handle, it could be CJ's Satan.
Yes, that's right. Is that not taken?
Better than Tricky?
If you listen to this podcast, we greatly appreciate it. But be sure to go listen to our other our other podcast, PG Spoilers, which there was an episode released on Love, Death, and Robots.
Netflix original Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay, I did get the name right.
Cool.
Nintendo Dual Screens and Game Stuff. All of our podcasts can be found on Apple Podcasts, formerly iTunes, Stitcher, your various podcast applications on your smart devices, Google Play, TuneIn, and you can listen to Trophy Horse and Dual Screens on iHeartRadio and Spotify. If you want to get a hold of us and interact with us more, you get into our PlayStation 4 communities. There's one for the site called Proving Gamer. There's one for the show called T-Dubs Brothel. Why, CJ?
Because you're not allowed to call our horse. What's his name? Yoshida, yeah? Is that right?
There you go.
I wasn't expecting that. You threw me off.
I told you I was going to test you. And
I thought the phone number was the test. I was right, though, wasn't it? You're not allowed to have horse. That's right.
Well, yeah. It's Shehu Yoshida.
Yeah, sorry.
Tricky darn near butchered it.
I'm not sure how to say it.
It's Shuhei Yoshida.
Shuhei, that's right.
And
yeah,
you get
Yoshida.
where CJ likes to post in the Platinum Guild. If you get a new Platinum, post it there, and Yield will forget to give you a Platinum for 3 months, or your shout out for 3 months.
Actually, I'm going to jump in here as well.
Ooh.
Yield, I know the other week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, you did a reading or something of the Platinums. Is that was right?
I did.
Yeah, so the murdered 36XX, whatever his name is, or whatever else, he reckons he has a lot more. So next time you need to read all of his.
I did. He didn't post it all.
Oh, is that what it is?
I went back to... Yeah, I went back to the first
Okay,
few.
well, I tried.
And I
shout out.
scrolled up to the end of it, and there was a big gap.
Yes, okay.
Of where he posted here, and this was his number, let's say 304, and then the next post was like 319, and I'm like, well, where's the in between?
Yeah, I think they were all 5 minute
That's
games.
why they're missing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's why they're missing. Otherwise, I'd have read them.
All right, that is the end of our sponsors, or excuse me, our housekeeping. What we do have some sponsors. Alex, tell us about Humble Bundle.
Humble Bundle is a charity initiative. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to humblebundle.com. You can even sign up for their online newsletter, or their electronic newsletter, I guess we would call it. But Humble Bundle, it's a charity initiative where every month they bundle together a bunch of games, and they sell them for cheaper than normal. So the bundles are tiered, so depending on how much you pay determines how many games you get, but generally you can get over $200 worth of games for $20 or less. The money goes to charity, so it's a very worthy cause, and even if you don't want a bundle of games, they still have single games for sale, as well as bundles of comic books, books, all different kinds of stuff. So again, if you want to go to homebundle.com, you can find out more information. If you want to go to our personal partnership page, I will always post a link on the show descriptions that are posted on ProvingGamer.com.
All right. Yield, tell us about Extra Life.
So, Extra Life is a 24-hour, 25-hour, since it's on daylight savings time. It's November 2nd this year, 25-hour video game marathon. So what you do is you go to extra-life.org. You sign up. You join a team. Proven Gamer has a team. You can form your own team. You can just go all solo if you want to. And what you do is you get friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, however you deem it necessary, to get them to donate monies to you. And 100% of the monies that are donated to you goes to the Children's Miracle Network hospital of your choice. You get to play video games for 25 hours straight. You get to help children in your local area who are sick and need your help. And it's a win-win situation. Play video games, help kids. It's a great combination.
All right, and we're also sponsored by Amazon. If you could and would, each and every time you do your shopping on Amazon, stop by Proving Gamer first. Click on any Amazon link and continue with your shopping. It doesn't cost you anything extra and does help out the site tremendously. And I want to say to everybody, because I've got a couple messages about this, a couple people have messaged me saying, hey, I'd like to support you on Amazon, but you're in the United States and I don't shop in the United States store. fun fact, I have set up a link for every version of Amazon. So if you you click on our link, it will bring you to your Amazon's site, and we still get the profit.
Win-win.
So, CJ, if you go to Amazon, click on our link, it will link you to your Amazon.com version, and we still get the profit.
Good idea.
All right. Also, if you are Amazon Prime, you are also Twitch Prime. So please link up the two, become Twitch Prime. Go to Prove a Gamer on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Prove a Gamer, and you can click sub for free. Now, you do have to do it every month, but don't. That good guy, Tricky, he likes to remind people and says, hey, your Twitch Prime's up. Time to renew. And I'll be there to help you out with that. But with that being said, let's close out the show with some shout-outs because we had an hour show, but Alex wanted to talk about half an hour about God of War. So let's close out the show. Alex, you go first, sir.
I want to give a shout out to the listeners, the fuel to the fire of this trophy horse. Thank you all very much for supporting us and continuing to listen every week. Without you all, there would not be a show. And without you all, we would not be on iHeartRadio. We would not be on Spotify. So thank you for your continued support. Give a shout out to Tricky and to Yield for recording tonight, as well as our special host, CJ. CJ, sorry we butchered your name and made you sound like Satan the first times we that we introduced you on the show.
I thought
you guys always said CJ is hating.
Well, we said CJ.
I said that was another way that you could say it. Yeah.
That's all right. I changed my name, so we're all good now.
Yeah, he changed it
to another name I can't mention. I can't pronounce.
Yes, that's all right. It's best if we don't.
I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Unknown, who is, unfortunately, even though CJ's here, still unknown.
Yes.
Shout out as well to our other CJ, of course, is a patron, as well as our other patron, Felicia Steph. And, sorry, I forgot the name there for a second.
Patreon producers.
Yes, thank you to our Patreon producer, Felicia Steph, as well as CJ. CJ gets a second shout out here. Last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome girlfriend, Ashley, braving thunder over Louisville with me yesterday. If you don't know what thunder is, it's the largest fireworks show in Kentucky, and it's one of the main events for Derby, in the lead up to Derby, I should say.
I thought it was Lightning's twin brother.
I said thunder over Louisville, not just thunder. You silly bastard.
Yeah, thunder over Louisville. Thunder. Never mind.
Your jokes are terrible. Your jokes are terrible.
That joke was perfect.
All right. Well, again, shout out to my girlfriend, Ashley.
God of War,
I love you, hon.
Yield your shout out, sir.
So I will give a shout out to not only Tricky and Alex for recording tonight, I'll give a shout out to CJ for coming on tonight and experiencing our babble firsthand.
He's never coming back.
Shout out to you, probably not very many people do. A shout out to you, all the pimps and the madams of the whoredom. And a shout out to wargaming.net for World of Warships Legends, because I like blowing up ships.
CJ, your shout outs.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys, Alex, Tricky, and Yield. It was awesome fun to come on today, so thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. I'd just also like to take a moment to thank your listeners as well, and just encourage them, like maybe you said earlier, not many reach out, but just like do reach out or something, because I know these guys put in a massive amount of work. If you've ever done any of this sort of stuff, you know how long editing and just putting everything together takes. So even if it's just, a hello or $1, if you can afford it or whatever, definitely give to them, because they're pretty funny, and, I'm sure we all owe them, a few trophies when we listen, if we're grinding or in the car or whatever else. So I think they're doing awesome. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank Mr. Unknown as well. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. We did a little bit too much recording yesterday, so I think he's exhausted. And then any trophy whores in general, keep it up, yeah? Don't be a completionist. Play everything. Stop playing when you've run out of enjoyment on it. But
unfortunately, CJ, completionism is not something you choose. It's forced upon you.
Let go of the OCD.
But CJ, you have your own podcast. How about you plug that here, since you joined us for this lovely recording?
Yeah, perfect. So, okay. So we're just like sort of similar to you guys, except we're probably a little bit, maybe we're more trophy whores even than you guys. We call ourselves spam.
Ooh, those fighting words.
Well, no, we call ourselves spam hunters, so it's a little bit different. So that's just with myself and Unknown. It's called Push to Plat, and we release usually on Mondays. I think we're up to like show 7 or 8 or something. And you can hear it on iTunes podcast or app or YouTube, Spotify, There was another one, Stitcher Radio, I think, the other day as well, and SoundCloud or something else. So we're at good pacings. We come out on Monday, and you guys come out like later in the week. So you could even do both if you're really obsessed, I suppose. But if you're looking for info on really short, quick games, or just in general what two people who play way too many games think, then definitely give us a listen. Thanks.
And I want to give a shout out to CJ. CJ, I know you're a Patreon producer, and we owe you a Google Hangout. I just want you to let you know this counts as your Google Hangout, so you're not getting it this month. No,
That's just mean.
Never hear me again.
I'm just joking.
No, he's not. He's being serious.
Well, I tell you what. Rather than a Google Hangout, what about in a few months' time I come back on again if there's an opening? That would be awesome.
You're welcome to come anytime. You can leave Mr. Unknown behind because I kind of feel like he'll drag down the show.
Wait a minute, hold on. How does Mr. Unknown feel about Horizon Zero Dawn?
Well, he platted it as well. I think he liked it. So
well, he's very welcome on.
That's right. Maybe he should come next time.
All right.
He doesn't like God of War, so you'd love him.
Oh, come on, Mr. Unknown. Come on down.
I'll give a shout out to the goddess who is waiting for me to finish recording so she can cook some dinner. Shout out to Sweet Mama D, who is allowed to stay up past her bedtime tonight because I promised her she could play Rock Band, and then Daddy had to sit down and record, so I told her she couldn't play Rock Band no more, and then she gave me the boo-boo lip, and I gave in. So never underestimate the power of a 10-year-old's boo-boo lip. I'm waiting for her to come in the room now. No, she might have fallen asleep on the couch waiting for me to finish. Shout out to the listeners. Shout out to everybody. Thank you very much. I want you guys to know that the show being released on Wednesdays is going to be corrected. I'm going to make some changes, get it done. I've been lacking. I'm sorry. Alex yelled at me about making my update videos.
I mean, like I said, when there's an update video every week, it's just kind of like, well, here we go.
Well, it's part of the charm of Trophy Horse.
Well, we could always release on Thursday.
No. If there's nothing else, until next Wednesday, happy trophy hunting.
CJ's hating on Horizon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on, CJ.
See ya.
Save your last words. Save your last words. We don't need it. Save your last words. We don't need it. Save your last words. We don't need it. Save your last words. We don't need it.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.